Pepper Big 12 Championship game. A smile from Coach Snyder, rare. Perhaps he knows something. It's coming up next. Coming up next, most of you will be taken to the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship game. Kansas State trying to upend #1 Oklahoma on their way to the Nokia Sugar Bowl. But the Sooners know 12-0 means nothing. 13-0 means they got a shot for 14-0, which would be an undefeated season and a national championship. John Saunders, Craig James, and Terry Bowden with you. And again, you cannot count out Kansas State in this game because of the ability of their quarterback, El Roberson.
That's right. Everybody talks about El Roberson, the talent he has, Darren Sproles, the talent of their tailback. Score big plays, get downfield. Don't depend on drives. It's all about what you can do about this great defense. But I think it's about Kansas State's defense. They're facing the #1 scoring offense in the country. You got to ask yourself, is this team going to be able to hold Oklahoma to half of its 48 points a game?
And I think big picture, Terry, is you really got to consider as a football team at Kansas State to come out of the locker room knowing you're going to face a team that is bigger, faster, and stronger than anybody you've seen the entire season. If they can hang in there for that first quarter, Kansas State has a chance. But it's that first quarter initial shock of, my goodness, these guys are big. They're fast. That's why they're maybe one of the best teams to ever play the game.
And Bob Stoops quickly now has to keep these guys from looking ahead to the next game.
Yeah, there's no look ahead in the Oklahoma Sooners. They know that they're playing a good football team in Kansas State.
That's one of the strengths of Bob Stoops. He's never lost too many big games. This is a big game.
It's the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship game next.
Kansas City, here we come. Loaded with talent. Oklahoma has dominated everybody in sight. Offensively, they are led by Heisman Trophy frontrunner Jason White. This quarterback pilots the nation's #1 ranked offense. Defensively, the Sooners are relentless, combining speed and power, which has handcuffed Big 12 offenses all season long. Bob Stoops' machine has their eyes set on another national title. Tonight, Kansas State takes on this Big 12 superpower. Quarterback El Roberson and running back Darren Sproles have made it clear they do not back down. At 5'7", Little Tank Sproles provides one more challenge as Oklahoma zeroes in on the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship.
From a sold-out Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City on a clear, cold night, welcome to the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. One of the hottest teams in college football, Kansas State, takes on everybody's #1, the Oklahoma Sooners, who are unbeaten at 12-0. Welcome, everybody, with my partner, Gary Danielson. I'm Brent Musburger. Should be really interesting tonight. If the Sooners can win 2 more in a row, arguably they'll go down in history as one of the best ever. The question for Gary, because I've been asked it all week long, can Kansas State stick with the Sooners?
Absolutely they can, but they must take care of their own jobs first. I've done Oklahoma with you 10 times in the last 2 years. They're a great team, but most of the time, 8 out of the games I've done, the team beats themselves. Oklahoma doesn't beat them, they lose it before it. Kansas State must take this into the late rounds and win by a TKO.
One of the things that Gary and I observed, we had thought earlier that Kansas State would dominate the tickets. They have not. Thousands of Oklahoma fans are here, and they're going to see a great quarterback duel here tonight. Jason White of the Sooners, the leading candidate for the Heisman, and El Roberson of K-State.
Brent, let's get rid of this idea. Jason White is just not along for the ride on this deal. He's having one of the most outstanding seasons any quarterback's had. He is the trigger guy. That's the reason this offense scores a lot of points. Great football team, but a great quarterback. Other side of the field, El Roberson, he's the type of quarterback, moxie, experienced, he runs, he throws, that gives Oklahoma problems.
The temperature tonight, high 30s. Breeze at about 15 miles an hour. No snow, no rain in the forecast. The third member of our team is Jack Arute. Let's go to Jack.
Well, Brent, forgive me if there's a sense of familiarity here in Arrowhead, because there was a Big 12 championship game played back in the year 2000 with these 2 exact same teams. Very similar situations. In fact, Oklahoma was undefeated, but it was this late pass from Josh Heupel to Andre Wolfo that gave them a 3-point win over Kansas State. Now, one thing, Brent, that happened just moments ago down here, Bob Stoops came out of the locker room, chase down Jason White. They change the decision as far as what they want to do if they win the toss. They're going to elect to kick and defend this goal here.
All right, Jack, and that, of course, be because of the breeze as we take a look at the Bowl Championship Series standings presented by Allstate. Oklahoma clearly #1. Remember now, it is the lowest point total that gets you to the championship game. But who's #2? USC, well on its way to becoming 11-1, taking care of business. LSU about to tee it up against Georgia. John Saunders will keep you up to date with that one as we get ready here. Kansas State, winners of the North Division. This is a team that lost 3 straight games, 2 of them conference games, before they turned it around and won 6 in a row under Coach Bill Snyder. They went into Lincoln, Nebraska. They won a statement game. They put it to the Cornhuskers, and now they come pouring onto the field here at Arrowhead. It's Oklahoma and Kansas State coming up on ABC.
Be a part of today's game by logging on to Enhanced TV, live now at ESPN.com.
They have been #1 for 15 straight weeks. They have the nation's longest winning streak, 14 in a row. They are the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's go back down to Jack with Coach Stoops.
Coach Snyder has always given you guys a great team. How do you defend against that tonight?
We're going to go try and be a great team ourselves tonight, Jack. Let's go have at it.
Bob Stoops, who a couple of years ago won a national championship, and he is seeking a second one. Now, the coin toss was won by Oklahoma tonight, and the Sooners electing to defer, and they will choose that one end zone. So that means that K-State will handle the ball first. Now, there is a story regarding co-defensive coordinator Mike Stoops, who's about to move on to Arizona as the head coach. Jack, you were in practice at Norman with them.
Yeah, Brent, you would think it was an emotional time, but you would think maybe he'd backed off just a little bit. We caught some practice sounds, and it's far from that with Mike Stoops.
Nose in the game. All right, go. Move around.
And we will be bringing you the sounds of the assistant coaches prior to the national championship game in New Orleans. Mike Stoops will go to Tucson tomorrow. He will not prepare the defensive game plan. It'll be up to Brent Venables, who becomes the defensive coordinator, and head coach Bob Stoops will work with the secondary. Remember, he used to be a defensive assistant under Bill Snyder, who was the head coach over at Kansas State. Bill and I talking about the great number of coaches that have moved on from the K-State program and have been successful elsewhere. It is a credit to Bill Snyder's job as a head coach, and with a brand new staff in place in Manhattan this year, they have put that 6-game winning streak in high gear behind Al Roberson and Darren Sproles. And now Snyder, who scripts out the first plays of the game, will put that script to work here after they receive the opening kickoff.
Brent, Kansas State must do everything against this defense. Throw long, throw short, throw in the middle of the field, throw to the wide side of the field. If you tilt your offense in any way, Oklahoma will crush you.
K-State already with a wrinkle we did not see in Lincoln. They put Sproles right in the middle of 3 return men. They defend the boundaries against DiCarlo, who's been so good at sealing return men up toward the sideline. With that slight breeze, he drills it deep to the end zone. Sproles takes a knee. It's coming out now on the 20-yard line. Well, let's meet the senior quarterback at Kansas State.
My name is Al Roberson, quarterback, majoring in social science.
38 career rushing touchdowns. That is a story here tonight. He is that other dimension of this game. He is a running quarterback.
He's also an experienced quarterback. Remember, he started against this Oklahoma team before. He will not be surprised by their speed.
He comes out behind a veteran line. Nick Leckie, the senior center from Grapevine, Texas, right in front of Roberson, who's out of Baytown, Texas. Sproles with the first call of the game, and nothing much doing against that defense. Gayron Allen, the middle linebacker. So it is our Dr. Pepper starting lineup for Kansas State. Now the highest grades on and off the field, and that's Ryan Lilja, academic All-American, and the coaches say he's also graded out the highest as a blocker. Leckie, though, made the coaches all Big 12 team. James Terry overlooked. He's accounted for 42% of the receiving yards. And Darren Sproles, #1 in the nation in all-purpose yards with the first carry. Now he's coming back again. The little tank battles for no more than a couple of yards against this Sooner defense. And they are loaded with studs. Meet the All-Stars. 3 of the Big 12 defensive linemen, Harris, Dvorak, and Cody, all Sooners. Teddy Lehman's the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And back in that secondary, well, they've got Derek Strait. He's a Thorpe and a Nagurski finalist. Now, Nicholson will play safety much of the time tonight, except in situations like this when they do use the nickel. Pasha Jackson is going to play a lot. But here in this third down, it is Nicholson who moves up. Incomplete. It's 3 and out. And immediately the Sooner defense sends Roberson to the sideline.
It also sends Antonio Perkins back, one of the game breakers on this Oklahoma team. We saw him against UCLA take it back 3 times.
A very good punter, Jared Bright, out of Bakersfield, California. He's averaging 41 yards a punt. He has not had one blocked. And he will try to do his best against Perkins. He booms it high. Can the cover men get down? Perkins is going to try. From the 31 to the 35 and out of bounds on the Oklahoma sideline. That's where OU will go to work for the first time with excellent field position. And let's meet the celebrated Oklahoma quarterback.
I'm Jason White, Oklahoma's quarterback, making my first start in a Big 12 championship game.
Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, one of many honors that are about to come the young man's way. He's out of Tuttle, Oklahoma, a small town of 4,294. And he brings the Sooners out 65 yards away from the end zone with their opening series.
The most underrated aspect of Jason White's game, his ability to run an offense that expands every week. Chuck Long says he does more with this quarterback than any quarterback he's been around.
Number 20, Kewan Jones, a pounder, opens up against a very good defensive line. Runnels as a blocking back for him, and Kewan is stoned. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as Brian Hickman, the linebacker from Mesquite, takes him down. Our Dr. Pepper Sooner lineup, they must protect White. They've given up 9 sacks in their last 2 games. Vince Carter making the Big 12 team, but a breakout year for Mark Clayton. Better than 1,100 yards and 15 touchdowns. And Trey DiCarlo, the field goal specialist, 19 of 20 field goals this year. Oklahoma spreads the field. 5 receivers. They drop Jason back all alone in the shotgun. They empty it out. 4 down linemen for Kansas State. They don't get there. The completion underneath for a first down as they put it in Lance Donnelly's hands. The senior from Weatherford, Oklahoma, Ted Sims, the linebacker, defending the play. The Kansas State defense, 18 sacks in their last 4 games, but the 4 of them didn't get a whole lot of penetration that time against the OU line. Josh Buell, 12.4 tackles a game. That's #1 in the nation. He made the All-Big 12 team. Rashad Washington, his 27th consecutive start. But there are questions about the defensive backfield, and they just gave up their first completion of the evening. Now they have given up their second. Clayton with all that speed tries to get to the outside. Has another first down before Rashad Washington runs him out of bounds on the K-State sidelines.
Simple arithmetic there. 3 receivers, 2 defensive backs throwing the ball.
Well, we welcome those of you who watched the end of the USC victory over Oregon State. This is Oklahoma's first possession. Kansas State was 3 and out. OU now at the K-State 42-yard line. Kewan Jones has the corner and a dash for the end zone. Rashad Washington can't get it. Touchdown, Sooners. The powerhouse strikes first. It's like a heavyweight, a champion rocking its opponent early.
Watch J.D. Reynolds right here. What a block he gets. Look at that seal block he gets inside. The receiver, Jelon Rankins, comes in and makes a block. That Kansas State defense got sealed by 2 great blocks.
There's no question they were attacking the right corner with a couple of plays on that series. Trey DeCarlo. McCoy does a good job with the handle on that snap. Got it down. DeCarlo adds the extra point, and it's a quick 7. So the longest run of the season for Kewan Jones. He is noted as the power runner. But this time he gets the corner to the outside. Sooners strike first in Kansas City. The parka on. Kewan Jones from Jenks, Oklahoma. One of many outstanding college football players who've come out of Jenks. Now ball on the tee for DeCarlo again. He ripped his first one into the end zone. This one returnable, and here comes Sproles from the 1. Looking left in a cutback to the 24-yard line where L. Roberson. Now we asked Dvorak about defending Roberson.
We're going to try to counter how well he plays, how well he runs the option with how well we attack him. You know, I mean, that's the you gotta hit a guy like that in the mouth. You got to keep hitting him in the mouth, and you know, you just got to hope you hit him in the mouth enough times that it all works out.
Dusty Dvorak watching the beginning of this series from the sideline. One of those hard-nosed tackles. They'll put Klein and Magruder in immediately. So they use 4 defensive tackles from the start. The depth of this Oklahoma team. Sproles in the pitch goes nowhere. The outside speed. Brandon Everidge, number 7 out of Granger, Texas. The senior makes the stop.
One of the most underrated aspects, if there is such a thing on this Oklahoma team, is the tackling ability of Brandon Everidge. We've seen him improve. He comes up and he doesn't miss. Great athlete, and he does not miss tackles. Oklahoma goes to the nickel when they get a stop on first, and they go to the nickel now.
So Brodney Poole, who intercepted 2 passes in Lubbock against Texas Tech, is on the field on this 2nd and long. Roberson takes off for the first time to the 30-yard line, and Teddy Lehman out of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. Now, we've talked about the stars. Just take a look at these players who made the first 3 teams of the all Big 12. You can see 5, Harris, Dvorak, Cody, Lehman, and Strait. They all make the first team. Poole, the second team. He's your nickel back, for goodness sakes.
And one of their best players, at least going into the year, Lance Mitchell, the middle linebacker's hurt, hasn't even played this season.
3rd down and a penalty. First flag of the game, the little self-inflicted wound, which Gary says you cannot do against Oklahoma.
Remains 3rd down.
John Bible, our big-time referee here tonight.
Well, what does Kansas State need to do in this game? First of all, they've got to put some purple on Jason White. They must get to him. You saw her already. He's had time to throw. L must excel. L. Roberson has to have one of those games, and we've seen it like he did it against Nebraska, and they have to take it into the late rounds. Win this thing by a TKO. You're not going to knock out Oklahoma.
Strait draws Terry. That's the matchup. Terry's the wide out on the right. Now they release him, and Strait tries to blitz on it. And they take Roberson down as Derek Strait came off the corner that time on the call. My goodness, what speed he had. He was matched up against Terry, came off the left corner for Oklahoma that time.
Change up, a little bit of a change up by Mike Stoops. The zone blitz with the corner coming this time. Watch a zone blitz from the corner. That's a change up.
Second punt of the game. Perkins has got a returnable one. Trying to get to the left. In the middle. Down at midfield. And Bright, the punter, makes a fine tackle on that play. Jared Bright, a senior from Bakersfield, California. He looked like a defensive player on that, didn't he? Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. BU, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. SBC, going beyond the call. And Subway, good so you don't always have to be. Subway, eat fresh. And you can eat very well down there in the plaza here in Kansas City. Busy time of the year.
We tried it, didn't we?
It's terrific last night.
Yes, it was.
Now, the Oklahoma Sooners, Gary, they have struck on their first possession 11 out of 13 times this year.
And on the other two games, they scored on their second possession.
And Ronaldo Works is now in as the running back after Kewan Jones scores the game's first touchdown. Jason still not being touched. Going to go for the home run. Rankin goes down. And the feet just got tangled up as Cedric Williams is there with Rankins.
Incidental contact. Both the defender and the receiver looking at the football. But Jason White, one of the best deep throwers we've seen in college football in a long time, because he gets rid of it on time. Steps into the throw, a little action on like he's throwing a javelin. Little bump there. We're not going to call that.
Absolutely. We have asked the officials several times.
Yep.
In fact, before this game, we discussed with Bible's crew pass interference, and they are not going to give you that call. Now on second down and 10, they set the screen. Drop it off to Ronaldo Works, who's a terrific receiver out of the backfield. He gets about 9 yards before Hickman, and that linebacker out of Mesquite is everywhere for K-State.
Well, that defensive front four is the attack point for Oklahoma. Chuck Long, the coordinator, knows most of their sacks come up front. 38 of their sacks have been from the front four for Kansas State. That's why you're seeing the quick passes and the screens early in this football game to set the tone that you cannot tee off on Jason White.
3 wide receivers to the left on third and short. Works the running back right to the left. He'll run, and he's stoned. Didn't get the first down. Josh Buell in there along with Washington on the hit for the Wildcats.
An absolute must for this Wildcat defense. Stop and win third down. You're going to see it pull the guard here, a power play. In the last 2 games, this Kansas State defense against has been 9 for 30. Doing a great job of stopping third down.
Blake Ferguson, he'll try to hang this one up. Try to get it down inside the 20. A beautiful punt. Out of bounds, far sideline, inside the 20-yard line. So the punter from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, gets a high fives as he comes to the sideline. We're at the home of the Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The Chiefs have a road game. They're in Denver. I'm sure that many of them are watching that game as they get ready for a big, big contest against the Broncos. Here, Oklahoma with an early touchdown and a 7-point lead, but good defense on that second series by K-State. But now the Wildcats need some offense. They have only 8 yards in 2 series. They do not have a single passing yard. They have very bad field position here to start this series. Here is Sproles again to the right, and little daylight that time as he made his way out to the 10-yard line, picking up about 4 yards.
That's absolutely a must for Kansas State. Stay in the football game. Do not give up your running game. If Kansas State can run some play-action passes that mean something in the second half, that'll make it awful nice for Bill Snyder to call some plays.
from behind Sproles, number 43. He's all of 5'7", 170 pounds. Leads the nation in all-purpose yardage. A little bit of a draw. Sproles not getting much daylight. Did make it to the 12, and Allen brings him down. That's short of the first down. Well, we've got so many things to settle as far as the BCS is concerned, and so John, Terry, and Craig will sort it all out. 5:30 Eastern Time, the Tostitos BCS Selection Show. So if you're watching the Chiefs or any of those other NFL games, come on over at 5:30 and check out who's going to New Orleans, who's going to Miami, who's going to Tempe, who's going to Pasadena. They'll have all the answers. Here it is, 3rd down and 4. Roberson still looking for his first completion. They keep it on the ground again, and they will not run for the first down. There's too much speed on this OU defense. They've got to get it in the air. Derek Strait, their All-American corner from Austin, Texas, makes the play again.
I don't think Bill Snyder trusts L. Roberson early in this game to throw and turn it over against that nickel package. He wants to try to keep the game close. 12 men in the huddle, I think, for Kansas State. Illegal substitution.
Substitution violation on the offense. Breaking the
That's 2 wounds, self-inflicted. Can't do that against this great team.
And even if Perkins just fair catches, you've picked up 5 yards in field position right now. He's standing on the other side of the 50-yard line. You cannot do that against this Sooner football team and stay in it. Jared Bright is standing right back by the end line. Remember, he had to come down and make the tackle the last time. A great punt, a beautiful punt. Perkins on his bicycle, all the way back at the 30. What a punt by Jared Bright. Oh, my, he saves the day. He bails the Wildcats out. Good job by Bright. Well, here comes Jason White, and let's meet the Oklahoma quarterback.
I'm Jason White, Oklahoma's quarterback. My favorite professional sports team is the Houston Astros. My favorite movie is Scarface. My favorite historical figure is Winston Churchill. Never has a man done so much.
This is such an interesting young man who's had major knee surgeries on both legs, missed 2 seasons, has come back this year, has 40 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. He'll be going to the Heisman Trophy Award ceremony in New York next week. His parents are Ron and Sue, and just down-home family. Their biggest question is, can they wear their jeans in the hotel when they get to New York, folks? We've got an injured K-State player down on the field, and Gary, we both go way back with the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma.
We sure do. Chuck Long has done a brilliant job here. Started coaching at Iowa. Hayden Fry put him in the secondary to learn how to coach secondary first. Worked his way up. Now is calling plays. He was runner-up for the Heisman, remember? And now he's got a quarterback that should win the Heisman Trophy. And Bill Snyder says, you know who Jason White reminds me of? He reminds me of Chuck Long. Same size, the curly hair and everything.
And Chuck Long was looking at the field at an injured Cedric Williams, who's a corner going off to the sideline. Long's a big-time coach. They'll be looking for that replacement. Lewis Lavender, though, is a pretty talented corner. Ewan Jones on a cutback doesn't get much. Now, the quarterbacks who have won the Heisman, let's show you the last 5. A year ago, of course, Carson Palmer, USC, then Crouch, Winky, Werfel Ward. Take a look at the touchdown-interception ratio. These are the last 5 quarterbacks now to win the Heisman. Now, folks, take a look at Jason White at 12-0 and 40-6. Does he just consider? That's why he's the favorite. That's why the straw polls have him number 1. He is such a fine young man, so deserving of any award that comes his way. 2nd down and 10 now, back in that gun. Fires. Got it into Wilson's hands. Short of the first down. That's Travis Wilson from Carlton, Texas. Washington making the stop.
Oklahoma has had their way. Only been pushed a couple times. The reason? They let Jason do what he does best, throw the ball. They don't need to gamble a lot. They got the better team. Don't take chances and make L. Roberson throw the ball. They got to shut down that running game like they have and make it a passing game. They'll feel better about it.
Slowly but surely, the Kansas State defense is starting to come on. But this is big. 3rd down and 4. And Clayton goes down, and he's across midfield with the catch and a 1st down. They move the chains.
Boy, that's a great read by Jason White, because Kansas State and Brett Bielema dropped 8 in zone that time.
Jack, what do you hear about Williams down below?
Well, Brent, believe it or not, a couple of series before that, Williams came off the field and he was sick to his stomach. There, from my observations, remember, K-State will not release any information about injuries, but I think the guy's suffering from a cold or the flu.
He's out from Riviera Beach, Florida. Jones burst right straight ahead, put his helmet back on, indications that he will be back on the field soon. And he's to the 41-yard line. And here he comes back onto the field now. So Cedric Williams back in at corner.
Lavender has played a little bit. Randy Jordan, the other cornerback, was injured last week. Missed the game against Missouri, and Lavender played, but they like Williams in there.
Now the go-to guy is Mark Clayton. He's one of the 3 wideouts over to the left. Run Jones and Buell standing in there. Josh Buell, also from Mesquite, Texas. You talk about a couple of tough Texans as linebackers. Hickman and Buell were teammates down there. Well, tomorrow on Alias, she was lost for 2 years. Now agent Sydney Bristow will risk it all to expose the secrets of her disappearance. You won't believe what happens next on an all-new Alias ABC tomorrow. Here comes another one of those telling 3rd downs as far as Kansas State is concerned. And Ronaldo Works, a fine receiver, is slotted out to the right. The backfield is again empty. The offensive line so far doing its job. Nobody touches Jason. Fires low. Well defended in that zone, however, as Hickman, the linebacker, drops back and knocks it down.
Talked to both Brett Bielema and Bobby Elliott, the 2 co-coordinators for Kansas State. They said they do not like to go substituted defense because their linebackers run so well. Look at Hickman, how well he runs on that one. They'd like to stay with their quick linebackers.
There's Bielema over on the far side, another of those talented coaches that come under Snyder's tutelage. He can really coach coaches. And this one is fair caught at the 7-yard line by Darren Sproles, the all-purpose leader. Look, Gary, let's take a look at the Dodge defensive playbook, and it's a beauty.
It is. Boy, you need more than great players. You need good design. And watch what Stoops has come up here. The zone blitz with the corner coming as the 5th rusher this time. Kansas State has never seen this. They come in. He's the one with the secondary coverage zone who comes in and stops the quarterback draw. What a nice changeup.
Sooners continue to rotate defensive tackles. Magruder's back on the field. And Sproles pounding straight ahead just short of the 10-yard line. Lehman, that ultra-quick linebacker, comes up and makes still another stop as we check in down below with Jack.
Well, Brent, I asked Brent Venables and Mike Stoops who they would compare the offense of K-State to. Without hesitation, they said, oh, Missouri, but then they added a caveat to it. They said the difference between Missouri and K-State, Darren Sproles. So far, they're doing a pretty good job with Little Tank.
Yes, they have, Jack. 7 carries, only 8 yards for Sproles, only 15 yards of offense. Roberson looking for his first completion and still doesn't have it. It's 3rd down and long. And I go back to something that UCLA said following the USC game. This is UCLA now. Remember, they came down to Norman and they were beaten by Oklahoma. They said, we're not going to try to put USC down. They played a very good game. I think it was one of the Ball twins who said this. They were good. But on the field against Oklahoma, it was a different league. We were playing a team that had so much speed from sideline to sideline. We just could not stick up with it.
Called them a mini NFL team, didn't they?
Yes, he did. 3rd down now. And the K-State offense struggling to find a rhythm here. Under pressure, the screen's a great call. Here's Sproul, and Sproul breaks free. 1st down to the 36-yard line. Antonio Perkins makes the tackle. But against that blazing, aggressive defense, that's the right call.
Well, it's also a safe call. And I think Bill Snyder believes what I believe. Let's not lose the game. There's the screen man right there. Oklahoma likes to play zone. Let's not make it tough on our quarterback early. L. Roberson has a lot of adrenaline early in football games. Bill Snyder wants L to settle down, run the ball, and make a game of it.
Their first down of this game. Now Roberson, who's dangerous and can take off. Makes his way to the 41-yard line, and now this is their game. Complete a pass, have the quarterback run. Use Sproles straight ahead for a couple of yards. That's the kind of offense you've got. And against Roberson, he can do so many things at that quarterback position.
Yeah, see, 7 rushing attempts for Darren Sproles. I know it's only 8 yards, but they must keep doing that if they want to throw the ball deep and get the ball to Jason Terry on the play-action passes.
Quick drop, and he threw behind Poole that time.
Too much
Antoine
adrenaline.
Polite, I should say, was the intended receiver over there. And a reminder, of course, coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John Terry and Craig, they'll show you how Syracuse beat up on Notre Dame today. They'll also tell you what's going on with LSU, Georgia, and how USC came away with still another win. And they'll look ahead to tomorrow and perhaps speculate on who's going to be playing the BCS Bowls where.
One of the interesting players for this Oklahoma defense is Dante Nicholson, number 8. He plays the linebacker position right there. He's the second leading tackler as a nickelback.
Now K-State, can they convert a third down? Bad pass, so we're going to the tight end at that time, Brian Casey. Incomplete, and there was pressure from Lehman.
Absolutely. Boy, they go zone, 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 and all of a sudden a first down play by Kansas State, and Stoops and Venables brings the blitz with Teddy Lehman, one of the quickest linebackers you've ever seen in college football.
Right to Perkins has become a big duel here tonight, hasn't it? And slowly, Kansas State has got Perkins to back up. Remember, he was on the other side of the 50.
Oh, bad snap.
Bad snap.
Yep, it hit the up back. It hit Travis Wilson. I don't think it was a fake call. If it was a miscommunication. Wilson never thought he was going to get it. You can see the snap. It hit Wilson. That was not a fake. That was just a regular call. Hits Wilson, and it's almost like a turnover. The third big, huge mistake for Kansas State.
Coaches are beside themselves. Russ Vanover, the snapper. They can't believe what happened over there. The coach is talking to Vanover right now. You can only imagine what's going through Snyder's mind in this situation. They were starting to play very well. Now Oklahoma, 36 yards away. Can they take advantage here? Look for him to perhaps try to strike right away. I've seen Stoops go for it after a turnover. Riker screen to Clayton with that speed. He makes his way inside the 25-yard line for a first down. Now there is a young man who has come out of nowhere from Arlington, Texas with 15 touchdowns. He's only a junior, number 9, Mark Clayton.
Best receiver in the country after he catches the ball. He might be the best receiver in the country before he catches the ball, but I know for sure he's the best receiver in the country after he catches it. There's a lot of arguments about the first part of that.
Right. Three wide now. Ronaldo works into the backfield along with Runnels. White's getting time, not being touched. End zone too high. Had Clayton for a moment. Well, LSU and Georgia. Let's check in with John and see what's going on.
Well, Brent, here in the Taco Bell update, LSU feels they have a right to be in New Orleans as well. And Justin Vincent takes the handoff. You want to see some speed out of the tackle and then just takes off 87 yards. Longest touchdown run in SEC championship history. A little help from the official on the way. They missed the point after. LSU leads 6-0.
All right, John, and here Oklahoma leads 7-0 over Kansas State. 2nd and 10 for White. Beautifully by Josh Buell, number 7.
Let's go back to that last play when Jason White overthrew deep. Jermaine Berry, number 91, hit Jason White just as he let this ball go. And Jason, he kind of just fell on the back of his right knee right there. He got up, limping, shaking it off.
This game is being played in the Kansas State half of the football field. And White slowly back up. Now faces a 3rd and 12. Peoples brought the play in from the sideline. Jason wants to set the screen. Ronaldo. And State will not let him out. It was Andrew Shaw from Webb City, Missouri, the defensive end, circling back to make the play.
Absolute great speed. This defense for Kansas State works together. They're for real. They're keeping this football team in the game right now.
We'll be back with the second quarter after this message and word from our ABC stations. Trey DiCarlo on for a field goal. He's hit 19 of 20 this year, 14 in a row. This is a 44-yarder. Got the distance, no good. His last miss, and the only miss of the season, was a 31-yard attempt in game number 2 down in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. So the Dr. Pepper first quarter stats, with OU scoring the first time they had the football, but not much since then. You know, Gary, the one thing that surprises me is that Oklahoma has had one chance after another to score a second time. They haven't been able to do it against this K-State defense.
Oklahoma's winning 7-0, but I think Kansas State feels great about the way they've hung in this game. Both defenses have done well on third down.
And here comes Sproles breaking to daylight. Midfield, foot race. Perkins got the angle. Out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. The little tank. He holds the K-State records for career rushing, single season rushing, and single game. And he just put up 55 yards on this Sooner D.
Little tank with a lot of speed. That's a nice combination. Little pitch play, runs right through a tackle. One of the few tackles you'll see an Oklahoma team miss, and I think it's because his size is an advantage. Very hard to get down low and tackle this guy.
Golden opportunity for the Wildcats. They're inside the 20-yard line. Roberson shows option. 80% of the time he keeps it when he shows option, and Dan Cody made the play on the short side as we check in with New York and John Saunders.
Brent, we told you LSU missed the extra point. Well, here's how you make up for it. Gordon Ely Kelso fumbles the snap, tackled in the end zone, safety, and now an 8-0 lead for LSU over Georgia in the SEC Championship.
Good as the two-point conversion.
They went for 2. Too early to go for 2.
Second down and long. Roberson now comes to the wide side, throws on the run, almost intercepted.
Oh, bad route by Terry that time. Rounded it in there.
Perkins makes the play defensively.
James Terry ran a sloppy slant route that time. Look at El Roberson getting on Terry. Come across that receiver. Don't let that defensive back beat you to the ball. Just a sloppy old route. Look at inside technique by Perkins. Easy, easy. Look at that. He slows down. That could cost you a big interception.
Third down and 11. Wide in motion. Roberson throws in zone. Touchdown, K-State. Ryan Casey, the 6'7" junior tight end from Gladstone, Missouri, puts the Wildcats on the board.
I'm telling you, this El Roberson has no reverse gear. Casey's right here is going to sneak down the middle, little half roll to swing that defense to the outside, and Casey comes right in to the middle of that dead area. Free safety just bites one little bit on the play pool, and look at that. That is a well-designed play by Bill Snyder. This guy knows what he's doing.
Let's see if Russ Vanover delivers this snap to Dylan Meyer. Joe Ream ties it. So Casey, the tall tight end, built like a power forward, gets into the end zone. And El Roberson finds a way, just like he has for the last month and a half.
Brent told you about Ryan Lilja, the guard, the smart guard for Kansas State. Watch what he does right here when he picks up this blitz. two guys there. He knows he's got Sproles outside. He picks up the inside guy, does a great job.
Rankin from the 1 for Oklahoma. Spins as Josh Buell is in on top of him. So the starting linebacker, their leading tackler, comes down the field on the kickoff team and blows up the return by Rankins.
Yeah, there's no such thing as backups in this football game. Everybody's got to be frontline men.
Now the K-State defense, which has done such a good job here in the first half. They've given up 105 yards on that last drive. Kansas State actually moved ahead of them offensively with 114 yards on the day. Jones, the running back. 4 receivers in this formation for Jason White. Peoples at the 30-yard line, about 3 yards short of the first down. Randy Jordan from California makes the play.
See, I think that's not bad, though, for Kansas State. I know Oklahoma's doing what they want to do, but Kansas State must see if Oklahoma is patient enough to throw those short routes all the way down the field. Keep it in front of you. Oklahoma is used to scoring quickly. Will they have the patience to play in a tight football game?
That, of course, is the big issue. Test this Sooner team deep into the second half. They've been involved in routes all season long. Jones is swallowed up by this defensive front. Well, we have talked about Jason White and, of course, going to the Heisman Trophy ceremony, one of the finalists. And now it's time for our Aflac trivia question. 3 previous Sooners have won Heisman trophies. Who are they? And what year did they win it? All right, the 3 previous winners. Okay, see if you can think about that for a moment. It's 3rd down and 1 here for Jason White, who's the leading candidate right now. The ceremony next Saturday in New York City. 3rd down and 1. White checking with Runnels, who's the fullback. He would be the lead blocker if they elect just to run the power I, which they do here. Jones, and he has jumped. The Wildcats, they were ready for this play. Jones reaching toward the first down line.
Absolute must. Kansas State front 4 must stand up to the 5 offensive linemen for Oklahoma. Justin Montgomery and Andrew Shull just defeat that Oklahoma offensive line and make it happen on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Can't beat Oklahoma if your front 4 doesn't play well defensively.
Blake Ferguson into punt. They didn't get the first, and Sproles is back to return for K-State. Came at him up the middle, and Blake got it off. But they force a mediocre punt, and it is down at the 37-yard line. The folks in purple are up cheering. They're in the game against the powerhouse. That's all they can ask for. And remember, for Kansas State, in their first 2 series, they had only 8 yards. So 106 since then, 55 on 1 run by Sproles, who's lined up as the tailback. L. Roberson on a play fake with a deep drop on first down. Takes it down the left sideline, wants Terry. Terry's got it. Headed for the end zone. K-State leads it. James Terry from Homestead, Florida, on a 63-yard home run from L. Roberson. The Oklahoma fans are stunned.
Jason Terry ran the same hitch and go. Watch the hitch and go. Hitch and go against Antonio Perkins. Now watch him react to the ball. It's underthrow, comes back and catches it, and then beats the tackle into the end zone. Jason Terry is coming up big after he was just read the riot act by L. Roberson.
Ream, and the lead is 7. We have seen that move before, just a couple of weeks ago, up the road in Lincoln, Nebraska. It was the hitch and go, and Gary, it was Terry against the Cornhuskers. Same move.
Absolutely. You get one-on-one coverage. That one was a little easier catch and run, but this offense is so well coordinated, you better tackle well to stop them.
K-State leads. An underrated wide receiver. There's a Williams who's a standout everywhere, but this young man is as good as anybody right now. Now, folks, 748 total minutes for Oklahoma this season. They've trailed for 6 and counting now as they're behind 14-7.
Uncharted territory.
So Reeves. Here's Rankins again from the 5-yard line. To the 26-yard line.
Nice changeup. Look at. Because of the running game, there's the strong safety lined up on there. One-on-one coverage to the outside. You get that safety up because of the running game. You run, you run, you run. Now you got the play-action pass with the hitch and go. Oklahoma sniffs. They want turnovers. And that nosy defensive back gets beat for a deep.
So the 2-touchdown underdog moves ahead for the first time in the Big 12 Championship here in Kansas City. And the folks have put down their Dr. Peppers, and they're ready to see if this Sooner offense can move. They have been stalled on 3rd down so far by the Wildcat defense. Wilson with a nice grab right at the 1st down marker. Travis Wilson from Carlton, Texas. And hold on, there's an argument down there on that sideline. He's waving it off. I thought he had it. The Stoops brothers are right there.
It's a gutsy call right in front of that Stoops bench. Absolutely. Throwing to the outside, Travis Wilson catches it, takes a step. We can't see the ball. That's a catch, isn't it?
Looks like he actually made an act. It came out as he was going out of bounds, didn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, at least it looked that way. That's what Bob is trying to argue.
The field judge was screened on the play just like we were in the replay, and he thought it was bobbled and came out.
So Drew George down there is getting an earful from Bob Stoops. 2nd down and 10 for the Sooners. Set the screen. Here's Jones. Washington in on that stop, and this will be 3rd and about 3 coming up.
Got another angle of it. Ball is caught, 1 foot down. Oh, that's a catch. That's a good catch. That's a bad call. No, that's one. One that has not gone Oklahoma's way.
Bobby's having a hard time letting it go. It's 3rd down and 3. Best to shake it off, get the 1st down, and go on about your business. Only 1 of 5 on 3rd down conversions.
Kansas State is the best of the Big 12 at stopping 3rd down. 26% on the year.
White sends Clayton in motion. Clear off to the left side. They throw back short side, taken away from Rankins. Great play over there by Williams. The corner from Riviera Beach, Florida. And we want to get another SEC update, so here's John.
Brandon, it's like LSU knows they have to make a statement. Matt Mock looking for Michael Clayton. Plenty of protection. 43 yards as he backs into the end zone for the touchdown. The point after this time is blocked, but because of the safety, LSU with a 14-0 lead.
And all around the country, John, computers are starting to warm up, getting ready to roll through the night. 4th down now. Ferguson back in punt formation. Sproles again, the return man. Fair catch is signaled. I think he was trying to draw a penalty, folks. If I had to guess, Bradley was the cover man down there, number 1. Sproles trying to kind of just run up into him. And Bradley says, what's going on here? Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. BU, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. Cadillac, bold vehicles define convention. Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. And Nivea for men aftershave balm, more evolved skincare. The skyline of Kansas City, a city that has done such a great job of hosting this Big 12 championship game. What a wonderful setting Arrowhead Stadium is. It is in the NFL. This stadium is the most like a college environment. Very intimate. Fans are down close, and so far they are getting their money's worth here tonight at Arrowhead. On 1st down, Roberson wants to set a screen again. There's no receiver over there.
Dvorak got him, Brent. Dvorak grabs Sproles. Nice read on the screenplay by Dusty Dvorak.
Outstanding by one of the all Big 12 defensive linemen, Gary.
Yeah, you know, you got to be big. He's big. You got to be fast. You got to be tough. And then you got to be smart. And if you got to read your keys, and he knew not to let Darren Sproles set up inside and get out of the pocket. That had to be something that was part of the game plan.
He's a big-time defensive lineman. Brian Casey and Thomas Hill, too tight in now on 2nd down and 10. Sproles eaten up, and Wayman makes the stop. And you know, we asked Dvorak about the mentality of being a defensive lineman.
To get hit in the head every snap. I mean, playing D-line, you're going to get hit every single play, and you got to be tough. You got to be a good athlete. You got to love the game.
One of my favorite football faces of the year, and one of the better answers. You get hit in the head every play, and you got to just keep coming.
This will be very conservative by Kansas State. Quarterback draw, screen pass, draw play, no chances.
K-State needs 13. What a tackle as Nicholson comes up on the tight end that time, Dante Nicholson. The JC transfer for the Sooners. Watch him deliver the blow.
This is the guy that gets it. They just drop in Oklahoma for zone. Here's the accident happening right across there. Tight end's coming across. Very conservative. Throw the ball, dump it up. That's how you stop it in zone defense.
It's a wonder that Casey held onto the football after that hit. Jared Bright, low snap, picks it up. So long snapper trouble for K-State. No fair catch on the signal. Perkins undercut now. And there's a penalty flag thrown on the play.
Yeah, that was a push in the back early on that play. That's how Perkins was able to evade the first gunner coming down the field.
Illegal block in the back on the return team.
Right side of the screen. I think it's right here. The guy. Oh, excuse me. Oh, right there. There it is. Right there. There's a push in the back. Right there. Getting little directions from every different direction, and I just got to find it. That's all. Get one of these telesters. You want to use it, you know. There's Kevin Wilson, the run coordinator, down on the sideline. Chuck Long's up in the box. Excuse me.
Kevin, of course, one of the former assistants at Northwestern, came down here to help with the run game. And speaking of that run game, Oklahoma has rushed for only 49 yards here and passed for 72. They have only 121 yards of offense, as they're compared with 180 for K-State in the first half. Trying the power game with Brian Hickman making another stop. All right, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who are Oklahoma's 3 previous Heisman Trophy winners and the years? Let's go back to 1952. In New York, the great Billy Vessels. Then in '69, Steve Owens. In 1978, the legendary Billy Sims, who once was a teammate of Gary Danielson's with the Detroit Lions. And that is the last time, 1978, that an Oklahoma player has won the Heisman. And now Jason White will be the favorite going to New York this weekend.
Excuse me, I've never seen Oklahoma this discombobulated early in a football game.
We've got a timeout, OU.
In Tunnel, Oklahoma, Jason White is a well-known figure, but when did the Tunnel folks know that he was it? Well, you've got to go back to a game where he was, well, they tried to tackle him once, twice, 3 times, and he's still connected. And for Jason White and for the folks in Tunnel, they say that was the game, Brent, in his hometown when he beat Newcastle High and escaping those 3 defenders when they knew he was the real deal.
And here tonight, Gary, he's got his hands full against this Kansas State defense. They are doing an outstanding job against number 18.
Well, everyone who plays against Kansas State marvels at the coordination that Brett Bielema right there, the old Iowa football player, a lot of Iowa little remnants in these two football teams, and Bobby Elliott have coordinated. They say this defense, it's not like the attack defense of Kansas State a couple years ago. They play sound zones and they rush the passer.
White again back in the shotgun with Works alongside. How field position has changed in this second quarter. They put it into Brandon Jones' hands for the first time, and he brings it out for a first down with Josh Buell dropping back to make still another stop. So our two coaches, and there's a connection. Bill Snyder, now 64, was the offensive coordinator at Iowa. Bob Stoops, the defensive back. Then he became a graduate assistant there. Bobby then became an assistant under Snyder in Manhattan, Kansas, before moving to Florida under Steve Spurrier. Then he came back to Oklahoma. But what's important here for Stoops is he has gone the distance. He has won the national championship. So far, even the Big 12 title has eluded Bill Snyder, who has done one of the masterful turnaround jobs in the history of college football. But how he so badly wants this one here tonight. White fires to Wilson. There's a first down out of bounds on that far sideline. Run out at about the 34-yard line.
One of the things that I talked to Chuck long before on the field, Brent, is that one of the things he loves about this football team, and especially Jason White, is he feels he can put things into the game that they haven't even practiced. He has so much confidence in this guy that he sees something developing and he has to go to it. He feels confident that this offense can run it, something like a play right there.
Show blitz picked up by Chasen, but that helped blow the play up, and Works to get no places. Josh Buell cleaned up. So the linebackers Hickman and Buell are attacking the line of scrimmage, and they are both from Mesquite, Texas. Now the Pacific Life game summary on the first series of the game. Jones bolted to the end zone for Oklahoma. It was 7-0. But then Roberson came back, hit Casey with touchdown number 1, and went the distance. And they lead on Terry's 63-yard catch and run. 14-7 Wildcats. 6:59 to go here in the first half. White from the pocket goes for the home run. Peoples deep against Williams, and Williams came over the top, and he incurred the penalty. The flag is thrown by the field judge, and that's a story. Remember, he did not give OU a catch on the sideline, and this time the interference is called.
Pass interference on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Watch his left arm as he goes up. He grabs the head. It's a great call. Cedric Williams was in position to knock it down with his right hand, but these defensive backs, it's a bad habit. We saw it against Texas when we did that game. They go up with one hand and they don't have the confidence, and they grab them with their other hand. It's a habit that's very difficult to break.
The 15-yard penalty in the college game moves it just shy of midfield, where it's an automatic first down for the Sooners. Line of scrimmage cut clean. White goes again deep. Complete inside the 15-yard line. The go-to guy, number 9. Clayton comes up with a 38-yard gain.
Nobody throws the fade better than Jason White. This guy has done it even before he had the knee surgeries. Watch him put this ball right on the outside, right in the bucket. Randy Jordan's in coverage, actually grabs Clayton's arm just before he catches it, but you can't do it any better than that. Ball's thrown over the outside shoulder. Clayton gave the quarterback 5 or 6 yards of room to throw it in, and that is taught, ladies and gentlemen. That just doesn't happen. That's practiced every day.
Clayton stays on the field. 4 receivers. He's slotted to the left. They like to run Jones. Short of the 10-yard line, Ted Sims, the linebacker from Newton. Kansas makes the stop, and we go down to Jack.
Well, Gary, you're talking about it being right in the bucket. Well, one of the ways that Oklahoma teaches their quarterbacks to put it in the bucket is a bucket drill. What they do every Wednesday is they erect a very high fence. They have all of their quarterbacks throw over that fence to create the touch-type pass, and they throw it into a bucket.
A little trash can. I've seen that drill. I've seen them do it. And the first thing they do before every game is work on the fade pass, even in warm-ups tonight.
Works, an outstanding receiver, brings the play in for White. Then picks up the blitzer. White goes in zone too high for Jones. He just couldn't hang on, but there is a penalty flag as White goes down.
Roughing the passer, I believe. Get Jason White after the ball was thrown. One of the few misses Jason White will have on a wide open receiver.
Rough the passer on the defense. Half the distance to the ball.
Jason White has an opportunity to step into this throw, and he misses it. Coming from, oh, that's an obvious one. Big obvious one by Shull that time. That's the type of play you can't do against these guys.
I think the John Bible is going to have to stop the game. The clock was running before he restarted.
Still running, yeah.
It ran all the way down. In fact, it's still running. Now he's conferring with a couple of the officials. So while we wait on that, let me remind you about Monday night. And folks, one of the hottest teams in football, the St. Louis Rams, go into Cleveland to play the Browns. Is there a lot of trouble in Cleveland? Will they be able to stage a big performance on Monday night? It's at 9 Eastern. But Mike Martz says that right now the Rams are the healthiest they've been all year long. And if so, they could become a contender for the Super Bowl. John's checking upstairs just to get this clock straightened out. And back on that Rams story, when you think about that Ram team that won the Super Bowl under Dick Vermeil, such great speed on the outside, Gary, and you said those weapons, those two wide receivers, Holt and Bruce, can take it in a hurry.
In the National Football League, and you know, it's becoming that way in college football. These athletes get better. You run the ball to get yards, but you score with wide receivers. And that's why this Oklahoma team is so good and why Kansas State has improved. As Terry has improved, Kansas State has improved. And run the ball for protect them, but you score with the wideouts. They're like wild cards out there.
Josh Buell, number 7, averaging more tackles a game than any player in college football. And so far tonight, Gary, he has really come up big.
The new breed of linebacker. You see it in the NFL, and you see it in college football. They're glorified, strong safeties that can run. That's the biggest difference from when I played football and now. When I used to play, linebackers were guys you could maneuver, big guys. Now they're as fast as safeties.
I see 6:44 on the scoreboard to my left as John still confers upstairs, and we'll see if that's the correct time. Well, coming up at halftime is the Dr. Pepper Big 12 throw for dough. And David Latham from Midland, Texas. There he is. Now he's going to attempt to throw 11 footballs into a giant 8-foot-tall Dr. Pepper can for up to $1 million. He doesn't look too tense down there, does he?
Get that jacket off. Loosen up the arm. What are you doing?
I told him to leave it on and stay warm. That's what he's doing.
All right,
it's 38 degrees.
Well, you see that clock running down?
What's he doing? He played in Detroit too long in Cleveland. First down and goal. 6:44, apparently our accurate time right now. White, plenty of time, takes off. He will not get to the end zone. Down at the 5-yard line. Ted Sims and Josh Buell are there defensively.
Well, we saw Jason break into the Oklahoma's quarterbacking job, and he was a guy, as Jack showed you, in high school could scramble all over. But these two injuries, both of them untouched, blew the one ACL one year, and then against the opening game against Alabama the next year, he blows the right ACL. He's had to come back. He's a different quarterback, not a scrambler. He's a passer now.
Terry told you he throws the fade as well as anybody in college football. It's second down and goal. They spread the field. He looks to go left. Got a wide different peoples and misfired, and we have seen White miss 2 open receivers in the end zone. That's not like him.
I don't know if Teddy Sims touched that ball or not. Really well-designed play. The inside slot guy stopped at the line. And watch Teddy Sims. He reads Jason's eyes, and does he get his left hand on this? Well thrown? Absolutely.
Yes, he did.
Absolutely. That is a big-time play right there.
Absolutely. It would have been a touchdown pass except for that play by number 45, Sims. Outstanding.
Boy, this defense won't crack, will they?
They won't. 3rd and goal. White forced out of the pocket on the run. Fires, and it's picked off in the end zone. Intercepted by James McGill, and it's coming out on the 20-yard line.
We've all done it. Every quarterback that's ever played has tried to make one of these plays on 3rd down.
Gary, he's hurt.
Oh, boy. Not only does he throw an interception, he comes off with a wobbly right arm or right shoulder. Zone, watch this. Zone. This is what's new in college football now. Teams play zone defenses. All these crossing routes by Oklahoma, who cares? Let them cross. And now you try to throw the ball against the grain, and there's the interception. Let's see what happens. Gets hit inside. Houchin right there, number 94, puts a shot right on the funny bone of his right arm.
Roberson hit on 1st down. Cody sacks him at the 11-yard line. Big Dan Cody from Ada, Oklahoma. One of the all Big 12 defensive linemen. A young man who's been quite of a story, has battled depression. Some of you may have seen that feature earlier in the day in the coverage of college football. He has come back after taking a year off, and he's one of the best.
I don't think anybody blocked him. Nobody got to him that time. Mike Johnson was supposed to get to him. Never got there on a trap play.
Roberson with 2nd and long. Puts it in his hands out to the 25-yard line. Well, you watch Al Roberson, who has grown up with this team, and we asked him about becoming the leader of the Wildcats.
Being a quarterback and being a leader of the team, you're going to have to get excited and let the guys know that you're going to come out and play hard, so they have to play for you. And my team knows it, and I got a lot of seniors around me that are pushing the younger guys and me as well to get this done.
Faces a 3rd and 5.
Nickel look in for Oklahoma. Poole is in the game.
Cody tried to get off the marks again on him. 1st down, Kansas State, as Al Roberson under pressure hits Thomas Hill, the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Thomas Hill was a preseason all Big 12 tight end. Got hurt, had surgery on his right ankle. Brian Casey comes in, can't get the starting job back. Talented guy that just now rounding back into good health.
K-State puts Darren Sproles back on the field. He'll be lined up at a receiver. They split him far out to the left. 3 wide, and Sproles is one of them. Roberson keeps it on the run. Makes his way to the 40-yard line. Picks up about 6 yards on that carry, and 1st down. And over here on the other side for Oklahoma, Paul Thompson, who is the backup quarterback, is starting to loosen up. So it is possible that Jason White will receive some medical attention down there. They're working on that elbow frantically, trying to get him back on the field. And Paul Thompson would be the substitute. Here it is 2nd down and 4. Kansas State leading number 1 ranked and unbeaten Oklahoma 14-7. There's White down there with the medical staff.
You know, it's not like he's a running quarterback. You can't go in there and just kind of fake it. If he can't throw, he can't play.
That familiar stand-up tight end. They set the middle screen, and here comes Sproles. 1st down, midfield, breaks the daylight. In the run for the end zone. This will give him a 2-touchdown lead. He's got it. 60 yards on the middle screen to Darren Sproles. Al Roberson and Kansas State are alive and well.
few teams in college football can do it all. They got a running quarterback, and they've got an emerging star at running back. What a game plan, and it is being executed perfectly, first by Bill Snyder and then by L. Roberson.
Snyder played coy, came out and ran it for a couple of series. What they really want to do is put the ball in the air, and L. Roberson has 3 touchdown passes, and it's 21-7. Kansas State, a shocker in the Big 12 championship game.
Big 12 football. It all adds up to excellence.
An emerging star. We talked about Darren Sproles. He is a full package, maybe a small package, but a great package. Hard to find behind that big offensive line at only 5'6" or 7, but he's also hard to knock down. He's one of those guys, you hit him and he just keeps going. And his great asset, small but great speed, and we've seen it twice already tonight.
Jerry, over on the Oklahoma sideline, I don't think there's much doubt that Thompson is going to get at least 1 series. White is continuing to talk to the medical staff. He has his helmet on, though, and maybe he's trying to convince him. He's got the helmet on now, and he's still in a discussion with him, and he'll make a step down. But Thompson went down toward the offensive line. He's down with Kevin Wilson right now, and some of the wide receivers, he too has his headgear on. So we will find out exactly what's going to happen as Rankins comes back from the 5. Forced back to the right, and he is down at the 16-yard line. We check down on that sideline now to watch as White came from the medical staff running back to the huddle. So White is going to stay in the game. And let's go down to Jack.
Well, Brent, they worked on his right elbow, Jason White, but then they moved back down to the top part of his hand. When he got under the center, the problem was that he could take the snap, but Gary, when he started to throw, he still had severe pain, but he's going out there, and you know what they say? He's a gamer.
You know what, I'm just guessing here. I play a doctor sometimes, but I'm just guessing. Might have some numbness. Get hit in the elbow. Had it happen to me. That funny bone goes crazy, and you can't feel your hand for a while. Gets hit. Watch. Ouch, and hits him right on the back of the elbow. I could almost bet that that's why he's got numbness in his hand. Send the bill over to Michigan if it's right.
Washington shaking up on that play for Kansas State. He goes off on the sideline for a time.
Got to have Washington. He's their big play guy, one of the best blitzers they've got on this football team. He and Hickman.
It looks like he's ready to come right back on the field after receiving medical attention. Has to go off for at least 1 play. Now, the first half, remember OU scored a touchdown, but take a look how they have been shut down. Then they put an 85-yard drive on, but the pass was intercepted in the end zone, and thus they are down 7. White fires complete. No pain there as he put it in Jones' hands for the first down. We check in with John in New York.
All right, with Terry and Craig, and we look at what happens if the unexpected is expected.
What if Oklahoma goes on to lose? We'll talk about all the scenarios, and there are a bunch of them right now.
Well, LSU is dominating Georgia. They may jump 1 or 2 teams.
It's going to be nuts.
Oregon State against USC, all coming up on the Capital One halftime show.
Let them play, lads. Let them play, and it'll all get sorted out. I'll tell you one thing. If K-State wins this, they're headed for Tempe in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl as the winners of the Big 12. That I can assure you. Now from the gun. White on the move. Fires complete. Lance Donley to the 45-yard line and a first down Sooners. And now the Kansas State sideline very unhappy that holding was not called.
Boy, was that a gutsy throw by Jason White on that one. He saw the linebacker bearing right down on him here. He just had a numb hand, bad elbow. He knows he's going to get rocked by Teddy Sims. And look at that delivery. That is what his teammates need to notice. This guy's a leader.
Pulls it down. Fires complete. Peoples inside the 45-yard line. Another first down. Plenty of time to work with here for the Sooners.
Yeah, very conservative, but I think smart.
Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, and no one is feeling the cold air right now as we take a look at a couple of the key plays in this game. Man was wide open. Sims deflects it. Then on the run to the right, McGill picks it off. And the other side, it was Darren Sproles on the middle screen, breaking free. And L. Roberson has thrown for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns against OU in this half. White, there's holding called this time. There's yellow all over. This one's coming back. Wilson's the receiver.
And that's exactly what a pass rush does against a pass. You got to keep coming. You might not sack them, but you keep coming, and sooner or later, someone's going to get grabbed and you make a play.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
There we have a comparison of Roberson against White in this game. Those 3 touchdowns for L. Roberson and that big interception thrown by White. And Roberson, of course, by far the more dangerous runner of the two. So L. Roberson and Bill Snyder have put K-State up by a couple of touchdowns in this game. And there is the senior. When you take a look at his improvement through the years, you know how good a coaching job Snyder's staff has done. It's like light years every year when you see the progress that L. Roberson makes. And now Jason White with a 1st and 20.
Not like he didn't do it before. He did it with Michael Bishop and Jonathan Beasley also.
White fires, deflected, incomplete. And it will be 2nd down. Well, tomorrow everything has changed except everything you love about the Emmy-winning practice. The press calls it the #1 surprise of the fall season. Part of Sunday's best, the practice. 10/9 Central on ABC. So we spoke about Roberson. Look at this, folks, just passing yards per game. Look at the growth that he's shown under this coaching staff.
When I went and visited him Thursday and talked to him, he was very focused. He didn't seem to be that adrenaline-filled, I'm in your face, I want to scramble every play. He's learning how to play quarterback.
2nd and 20 for White and the Sooners. Lots of time. Left sideline, Jones kind of held up.
He didn't run out his pattern. You have a guy that likes to throw the ball deep. You got to keep running. And that time, Brandon Jones quit on the play. This is exactly what a team needs to do against a passing team. Make that quarterback make decisions. Jason White, I've watched him for 10 games. He threw to his first guy. First guy was open. Everybody tried to blitz him and hit him. You got to sit back and make that guy think. Look at Kansas State will now go with a 3-man line. They'll drop 8 people. 1, 2, 3.
3rd and 20. Backside pressure. He gets it off in time. Right at the 1st down marker. Peoples makes a grab.
Big time play right there.
Wow, and White had plenty of heat coming backside on this throw by Thomas Houchin.
He all the way. Houchin had him all the way, and White got him out of the pocket. Good job by Chuck Long, Kevin Wilson, and look at this strike. The comeback route. A lost start in college football because you don't have time anymore, and there's another hit. Purple on white. That's a chance you got to take sometimes. Keep coming at this guy.
4th and just short. Very, very short. He didn't quite get the 1st down because of the good play by the defensive back. So it's 4th down and 1 now with 1:26.
They do not like to run the quarterback sneak with Jason White.
Jones is the pounder. He figures to carry it behind Runnels. No, play fake. They're going to throw for it. They got the tight end incomplete. He overthrows Lance Donnelly. So Oklahoma tries to come up throwing on 4th and short, and they will instead give it back to K-State with 1:21 left in the 1st half. And now, if Kansas State elects to be very conservative, they can take a 2-touchdown lead into the locker room.
Look at this. Don't gamble, Oklahoma. You got the better team. 4th and an inch with 1:21 to go. You don't need to do that. Too much of a risk. Now
let's see what Bill Snyder elects to do. Joe Ream has a long of 44 yards as his field goal kicker. He's up by 2 touchdowns. 1:21 to go. And Roberson goes down. It'll be second down with Lehman making the play defensively. And there's your last 4 possessions. They have scored 3 of the last 4 times that they've handled the ball for Bill Snyder.
And the amazing thing, the most time it took them was 5 plays to do it. This is a shock to an Oklahoma defense. I mean, when you looked at this defense, the thing that came to mind is they just don't give up big plays, and they're giving them up. It's reminiscent of the A&M game when they went deep a year ago on them.
Snyder is electing to run the clock out.
It'll be a timeout by Oklahoma now.
Third down is coming up.
They've got 2. They got 1 more left.
Well, let's take a closer look at the Kansas State quarterback.
My name is L. Roberson, and my nickname is Little L. My favorite professional athlete is Ray Lewis. He's a fighter on the field. Favorite food, Cajun food. Favorite movie would be 13th Warrior. 13 guys going to fight an army of people.
And he has been the 14th Warrior here tonight. He already has the record for touchdown passes in a Big 12 title game. The record was 3. L. Roberson has tied that record here in the first half. And Jack, he's done a wonderful job with this offense.
Well, Brent, you and Gary were talking about the fact that we've seen the maturation of L. Roberson. So has Coach Bill Snyder. We saw it at the Nebraska game when all of a sudden, when he first came out, the emotions were sky high. But one thing that L. Roberson told me that he's learned over the years is the importance of leadership and the importance that is put on his shoulders to stay focused. One of the things that I happen to notice tonight is L. Roberson is in total command. In fact, when they're off during a timeout, it is L. Roberson leading the offense, talking to them. There isn't as much coaching going on as there is leadership by L. Roberson.
Well, L. Roberson against Nebraska was just outstanding. And before the game started, he went out and let it be known at the coin flip that they were not backing away. K-State had not won in Lincoln since the 60s, Gary.
Absolutely. He's the ultra ego of this football team. He proved to his teammates that there was no R, no reverse in this guy. Very conservative play here. Yep.
Roberson will try to stay in bounds. They do get him out. They stop that clock over there at 27 seconds. Corey Klein in pursuit.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the extra 3 or 4 yards. Easy to say up here, you know, a little bit of obvious second guess, but if you slide down, stay in bounds, look at, well, I got another second guess. Bill Snyder's got
that one counts. Oh, by the way, okay.
That's probably the last thing he told L. Roberson, don't go out of bounds.
And because Perkins, who in a game against UCLA returned 3 punts for touchdowns, goes back. Now, Jared Bright has done a good job. A timeout is going to be called here by Kansas State because Oklahoma might try to come after this punt and block it.
Bright has been very slow in his deliveries, but the reason Travis Wilson made a good play right there, Kansas State only had 10 men on the field. He smartly noticed it, and that is a great timeout for Kansas State. Must get this ball off quickly. Anything, can't have a blocked punt.
Well, it's interesting how both of these schools go to Texas to recruit, and Kansas State's 3 captains are all from Texas. Roberson, Buell, and Leckie the center. Oklahoma, its 3 captains homegrown. Lehman, Works, and Klein of this Sooner team. 4th down. Jared Bright back to punt. Perkins. You can see his average tonight. That's better than his season average with a 56 long. One of the most underrated parts of big-time football is your punter giving you field position and getting it out of there. And he hangs it beautifully. Perkins surrounded. Doubles back. And he's down inside the 10-yard line. So a great play by Andrew Scholl coming downfield for him. one of the big defensive linemen on this team.
Unbelievable. I would draft this guy right now for that reason. You watch a defensive lineman. Shull is 6'5", 265 pounds, and watch him run down Antonio. Look at this play. You've got a defensive end. You want to talk about a guy that's just going to shoot up the draft. I'd take him right now.
Andrew Shull says, hey, you forgot about me on that all Big 12 team.
Holy cow. I mean, Oklahoma's got to take a knee now. There's no reason to even try it.
They line up at the take a knee formation. They'll go down into their locker room here at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And they are in shock. Bill Snyder with a 2-touchdown lead. We check in with Jack.
So, Coach, what do you do in the second half?
Well, hopefully you don't give up big plays. We've given up maybe two big plays on defense. That's about it. And offensively, we've moved the football. We've just come up short on a few possession down, third down, fourth down plays.
Thanks, Coach.
Kansas State leading it 21-7. Nobody gave him a chance. Now let's find out what John, Terry, and Craig have to say about this. Take it away, fellas.
Brent, I want a show of hands. Everybody who was concentrating so much on USC LSU that they paid no attention to this game, thought it was a given for Oklahoma. Raise your hands.
Hey, John.
Both of them, all right? I give you both of them. I'll tell you what, Kansas State, the victory they had in Lincoln over Nebraska, you can see the confidence. They were in this game early. They hung in there, and now they've taken control. They're playing at the same speed and level that OU is.
Yeah, Oklahoma talked about hitting them in the mouth. They're hitting them in the mouth. And I remember, defense cut Oklahoma's offense in half, cut the scoring down, and then have big plays. Darren Sproles, 55 yards, leads to a touchdown, 63-yard pass for a touchdown, 60-yard run for a touchdown. Big plays and good defense.
And there's no question, Jason White is not himself. No. He is banged up. You can clearly see that. Now, as I mentioned, we were all worried about LSU. We were worried about USC. LSU in a matchup for the SEC Championship tonight against Georgia. And this is just pure speed, guys. Justin Vincent, 87 yards.
Well, this is a great Georgia defense, third in the nation, but that speed, they got talent. They got more people out there that can run than Georgia.
And I think what you've seen tonight in the country is the fact that LSU does have a little bit more speed than most people here.
And Matt Mock also showing it with the arm as he finds Michael Clayton.
It's a balanced offense. They run the ball and they throw the ball. They can beat you with speed, talent, and a balanced offense.
And, man, if they hear right now at LSU the score of Kansas State, Oklahoma, can you imagine those guys will be losing mouthpieces flying out of their helmets trying to hit somebody?
Never mind guys losing mouthpieces. The hard drives will be exploding all across America just trying to figure out who's supposed to play in their Nokia Sugar Bowl. When we come back, we will have more after this message and a word from our ABC stations.